Good afternoon, dear viewer. Thank you so much for choosing the National Broadcaster. Pleasure to be having your company this special, warm and wonderful, merry, joyous holiday season that we're all experiencing. Today is the 24th of December 2023. My name is Sandra Kahunde. Now, a special edition of the Weekly News Roundup coming your way straight into activities for the day as we look at the head of state, President Museveni, who hosted journalists at State House Entebbe for an interactive session addressing a range of issues including security, trade, politics, East African integration and land. The president emphasized the importance of upholding legal rights, urging the public to document and report any instances of illegal detention exceeding 48 hours, as Samuel Senano reports.
This media engagement was moderated by the Senior Presidential Press Secretary Sandra Kahunde, assisted by his deputy, Farouk Kironda. The first question was to do with the alleged legal arrests which have been spiraling out of control since the run-up to the 2021 presidential elections. On this, President Museveni stressed the illegality of arbitrary detention beyond 48 hours without judicial review.
So, these arrests are illegal, and the way to fight them is by the people in authority should fight it like I fight it, but also the public should use the structures they have, democratic structures, to expose this, because that was really the purpose.
Regarding Somalia's recent entry into the East African community despite security challenges, Museveni highlighted the economic benefits of integration. He pointed out Somalia's pre-existing trade ties with EAC countries and expressed confidence in the community's ability to address security concerns.
The issue of economic integration is about market, common market. Akatare, Akawamu. Somalia is already part of the East African community. Because if you go, I'm sure, if you go to the shops, they are full of East African goods, I'm sure.
On land reforms, President Museveni acknowledged land ownership issues and promised government efforts to find solutions. He announced an upcoming executive order barring military involvement in land matters. On the 2026 presidential election, President Museveni declined to commit his candidacy, stating that discussions would occur at an appropriate time. This media engagement ended with President Museveni delivering his Christmas message. In his message, President Museveni emphasized Uganda's unwavering stance against external pressure regarding the Anti-Homosexuality Act.
The economy will grow in spite of the pressures, and I would advise those ones who are putting pressure to stop, because it's not good for them. They will get a bad reputation, and we shall prove our point that African countries can stand on their own.
He also urged vigilance against terrorism threats during the festive season.
The terrorist is right ahead of you, but especially the vigilance of the people. Like during this festive season, when people are in the churches, they are in the mosques, they are in the markets, transport on the buses, because these are people who are not known in your area. They are coming from, they are trying to infiltrate from Congo. We try to identify them. If we get their pictures, we'll put them on the social media.
On corruption, President Museveni rallied Ugandans to join hands in the fight against the vice. Samuel Senano, UBC News.
More from state, the president instructed the State House Controller to provide financial support to the 10 families of individuals killed by ADF rebels in Kamwenge district, as well as the survivor who managed to escape. He has also directed for the reactivation of the LDUs in the areas surrounding Queen Elizabeth and other forests. On another note, the CMI and SFC a few weeks ago killed 2 ADF suspects and injured Kamusu, who is believed to have replaced Njovu, now facing charges.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has directed the reactivation of local defense units in the areas surrounding Queen Elizabeth National Park, Chibale Forests, the forests in Chenjojo and Kagadi, Semuliki National Park and Bwindi National Park. This move aims to safeguard the population against isolated attacks by rebel groups, prompted by a recent incident in Kamwenge district, where 4 armed individuals killed 10 crop night watchmen. According to the president, the attackers chose to use pangas instead of guns to avoid alerting a population that is hostile to them. He notes that the suspects are remnants of the Njovu group that entered Uganda from Congo for the second time. The president has linked the 4 suspects to the massacre of children at Nyabugando school, the killing of 2 tourists and their driver, and the burning of an onion truck. The president highlights that a young girl who managed to escape the attack, thereby alerting the area for a response, should receive financial support and be brought to him for recognition of her bravery. He has instructed the State House Comptroller to send financial support to each of the families that lost their loved ones in Kamwenge. The president reports that the Chieftaincy of Military Intelligence and the Special Forces Commandos attacked a squad of 3, including Kamusu, the group leader who replaced Njovu. 2 were shot dead and guns were abandoned by the terrorists at the encounter point. However, Kamusu is reported to have been shot and his body is yet to be identified. Ugandan forces have executed fresh airstrikes on terrorist leaders 80 kilometers into Congo from the border. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
In other updates, we still see His Excellency President Museveni meeting a group of surgeons from Mulago National Referral Hospital who performed the first ever kidney transplant in Uganda at the facility last Wednesday. The group that paid a courtesy call on President Museveni at State House Entebbe was led by the Minister of Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Cheng. The minister informed the president about the historic first ever organ transplant to the patient Chiyamba Mac Morris of Munyonyo, Kampala, who received the kidney that was donated by his brother Stephen Impanji. The operation was performed by surgeons led by Professor Frank Asimwe in collaboration with the visiting doctors from Yashoda hospitals in India led by Dr. A. Sashi Kiran. President Museveni congratulated Mulago surgeons as well as doctors from India for the successful operation. He also pledged to support them to achieve their desired goals of self-sustainability in both human resource and the required equipment. Dr. Acheng thanked President Museveni for his unwavering support to the Ministry of Health but requested for additional assistance in the areas of training more kidney specialists and transplant surgeons as well as the provision of modern equipment. Good to know you're still following the weekly news roundup. Now, in other updates, President Museveni has witnessed the signing of an agreement for a joint venture between the Uganda Telecommunications Corporation Limited and Rowat Capital Commercial LLC, a company based in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, at State House Entebbe. UTCL is Uganda's national telecommunication operator, birthed from the former Uganda Telecom Limited. The Minister of ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, together with the Minister of State for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Honorable Henry Musasizi, signed the agreement on behalf of the government of Uganda. Others who appended their signatures on the agreement included the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Amina Zawede, and the Permanent Secretary and the Secretary to the Treasury of the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Mr. Ramadhan Ngobi. The CEO and the Managing Director of RCC, Mr. Chatha AI Taki, signed the agreement on behalf of his company. In his remarks, President Museveni said, the multi-US million-dollar joint venture project will not only improve Uganda's telecommunications sector, but will also create employment opportunities for Ugandans and enhance the country's tax base.
Thank you very much. So, Your Excellency, initial every page.
My people get jobs. All those sectors. You will no longer be talking of. They help us to communicate. They also pay taxes and they create jobs. But the difference with this one is that it will do all those, but also because the government is reasserting shareholding into this sector, the government, once the company makes profits, the company will also get dividends. So these friends who help us to bring back government into shareholding in the telephone sector, I value them very much. That's why I gave them the management of the ICT backbone. It is in the agreement there because we wanted it.
Now, away from state activities, we still see government of Uganda and the faith-based foundation bodies of education institutions in the country reaching a consensus on availing land for the establishment of public schools and education institutions in the country. This follows a negotiation process that began in February 2023. The meeting at Nakasero was attended by a team from the Attorney General's Office and Ministry of Justice.
During a meeting chaired by the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports at State House Nakasero, the representatives of the different faith-based organizations agreed to enter into a memorandum of understanding with government to ensure that the land where public schools are located will be titled in the names of these schools. The MOU is scheduled to be signed in January 2024. One of the immediate beneficiaries of this agreement will be the $150 million Uganda Secondary Education Expansion Project, which will construct 116 new seed schools and renovate and expand 61 already existing schools.
We have had many meetings, both at the political level and technical level, to resolve this matter. This requirement for land titles has, since its advent, been misunderstood and misrepresented, portraying government as if it's attempting to grab the land. But I must say government has no other intention but to secure land for education purposes, and I trust that all of you now really know that.
The minister assured the meeting that the land titles will be registered in the names of the public schools to ensure that they are standalone entities, while the faith-based organizations will participate in the governance and management of these schools in accordance with shared values. She urged the faith-based founding bodies to be comfortable to work together with government for the good of the schools.
Please be comforted to know that those values are not going to change. The people may change, but those values will stand. That's why we always want to work as partners with faith-based organizations, because we want our children to keep those roots. And so please be comforted.
We just need to create a degree of trust amongst each other.
Yeah.
If government is going to borrow $150 million to invest in schools, you really, friends, you need to trust government with at least the request that the titles do exist. We would require that the titles be given in the names of the various schools. All the schools that we are dealing with, the governance, the faith-based organizations where they exist, participate in their governance and their management. Whereas government is leading, the governance of these schools is given by the management committee on which the faith-based organizations participate.
Archbishop Kazimba Mugalu thanked Mama Janet Museveni for the relentless effort over this critical matter and concern for the well-being of the children and development of the nation.
Yes. Specifically, we are interested in 3 areas. Governance, whereby the foundation body is part of this, because we don't want other people to come and we lose our mission ground. Security of church land and property, which is very important because land never expands. So Church of Uganda legal team has guided that provided the government and the church agree to the memorandum of understanding drafted by the technical committee, the options are lease and a lease agreement, but B, subtitling the land to the school under the trustees of the church, and this is acceptable. Like Church of Uganda registered trustees and the name of the school, then we know this title is for this school, but still for the Church of Uganda. Mama, this flexibility is entirely in the spirit of serving our nation.
Baguma William, reporting for UBC.
Now, in other updates that you could have missed out, Mulago National Referral Hospital successfully conducted her first kidney transplant on a patient that has been on dialysis for 2 years. The Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, confirms that a team of Uganda medical experts with the help of Indian doctors performed the transplant on Wednesday. Dr. Acheng revealed this as she presided over the launch of the kidney transplant program.
On the 20th of December 2023, between 8 a.m. and 12 noon, one patient was transplanted. The donor and the patient are recovering very well. This is the most beautiful Christmas gift we have had from Mulago National Referral Hospital, and on behalf of government and the entire population of Uganda, allow me to say a big thank you to all of you for this Christmas. Due to the increased number of patient load, government acquired funding from the African Development Bank to remodel Mulago Hospital infrastructure and acquire equipment in preparation for what has currently started. Yesterday, in our interaction with His Excellency the President, he committed to training more and is waiting for a report from us on how many we can train annually and how many we shall require moving forward.
Well, great news truly for the season. Lawyers from the side of Sheikh Abdallah Mohammed Semambo contentiously moved elect by the General Assembly of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council have rejected a statement allegedly from the judiciary circulating by some of the UMSC members' lawyers. Swabul Mazuk and Erix Nalukola Luyimbazi said the document had no indication of being from the judiciary and was full of lies.
Yesterday, a statement from UMSC was issued saying that the High Court ordered suspension of all activities and non-implementation of the decisions from Gangu Group. Lawyers for Gangu Function have now rejected the statement.
Advocates and people who took part in the proceedings before a court, we went through the purported news release as was circulating on the social media. I've printed out a copy for ease of reference. And in our view as advocates, we find this press release to be suspect. First of all, it is suspect because it bears no signature of the author. So its authenticity is doubtful.
Lawyer Erias Nalukoya Luyimbazi said there has never been a media interpretation of the court judgment and the interpretation refers to an individual who is not in the court judgment.
Era abantu bano betwogerako kaakano kuba n'ekiragiro kiraba gye kiri. General Assembly si gye tuliko wabula ffe twogera ku bantu bano. Eyo bwe tunaaba tugenzeeyo ojja kuwulira. Naye ekintu kino bwe kiba kifulumye kikwata ku basiraamu ate nga nkuyanja. Bwe kiba tekikwatiddwa bulungi kisobola okutuleetera kalinsambulira.
He said the document does not have the signature of any court or a judge, which further leaves holes in it.
Not signed, so its authenticity is in doubt. That is issue number one. Then issue number two, if the judiciary is to interpret any document, any decision, it should be in pari materia with the ruling and the orders of the court. What appears here in this purported press release doesn't appear anywhere in the ruling of the Honorable Justice Alexander Kahunde.
Even so, the document has been seen on X because it is a court tweet, which adds confirmation that the document is a court document. They said they would write to the Reformed Court from vacation complaining about the process.
Saying the judiciary, we are not condemning the judiciary in any manner. No, we are saying what we have here, what has been circulated, is suspect. Because the ruling and orders we have speak something else, and the press release as it appears purportedly speaks something else. So you might find this is a document where someone sat back at their home, they got the logo of the judiciary and wrote what they believe suits their circumstances.
Jamil Sekaja, Mashamiro for UBC News.
Now, as we speak health this afternoon, looking at nutrition, where undernutrition, also known as malnourishment, is a health condition caused by the body's failure to utilize the food eaten, resulting in stunted growth or body wasting. According to the 2020 Global Health Statistics Report, approximately 149 million children under the age of 5 years were estimated to be stunted, too short for their age, and 45.4 million children were estimated to be wasted, too thin for their height. Additionally, 38.9 million children under 5 years were overweight. These conditions significantly impact the labor force, leading the Sesekawa Africa Association to initiate committee campaigns to educate Ugandan farmers about proper nutrition for a healthy lifestyle.
Globally, close to 45.4 million deaths among children under 5 years of age are linked to malnutrition, with Africa leading with 59.5 million malnourished children. The situation in East Africa is dire, with an estimated 39%, which is 23.1 million of children experiencing food deficiency syndromes, followed by West Africa with a 30% malnutrition rate. In Uganda, 3 in 10 children below the age of 5 years are stunted, while about 3.5% of children below the age of 5 face body wasting. The main challenge lies in inadequate information about preparations and rations for a health diet.
In nutrition and how to feed, it is not about only knowing the right proportions, but it is also knowing what should you cook. Are you cooking one type of food, or are you making sure your food is diverse? So it is about eating the right food in the right time, in the right proportions, but also eating the right amount.
While Uganda is making significant strides towards food security and income security, improving livelihoods is still in balance as many households remain unhealthy due to poor feeding.
These farmers plant a lot of food. We have been taking them through how do you cook the food you have farmed. How can you make sure that the nutrients are not lost? Because you find sometimes people cook food and it is left on the stove for hours. The vegetables become brown. So we are teaching them how to make sure you don't lose any nutrients.
Realizing this global health concern, the Sesekawa Africa Association has launched Nutrition Day campaigns. Nutrition experts are traversing villages, training communities on how to prepare and eat nutritious foods.
People have food, but eating it in the proper proportion is the challenge. and how often should they be eating these food groups? That is also has been a challenge. But we are so privileged to note that at least the farmers that we've been able to reach can now tell you that they try to consciously prepare their meals.
The Sasakawa program on nutrition has instituted a one-stop nutrition model home in all project districts to address global health indicators.
Nutrition-sensitive agriculture is not only nutrition per se, but it includes harvesting, proper harvesting. It includes proper handling of the harvested food, and the storage practices should be according to practices that are going to safeguard the food throughout the storage period.
According to the technical coordinator of regenerative agriculture, Sasakawa Africa Association has achieved a lot in food security, and under the new strategic plan, soil health and nutrition for farmers are now prioritized.
We focus on nutrient-dense crops such as the orange fresh sweet potato, such as the high iron-rich beans, such as the biofortified maize. Those are some of the crops, but also after focusing on the production of those crops, we also look at the food preservation.
The resident district commissioner of Chiwaga district, Mariam Seguya, expressed gratitude to the Sasakawa Africa Association for their efforts in increasing food production in the region. She added that the government welcomes the approach to focus on proper nutrition and food safety for farmers to improve the health status of the population.
I'm very happy with Sasakawa. An NGO that has come up to Chivoga to sensitize our parents, especially mothers and children, on how to prepare food which is nutritious. Because you are very much aware, if the food is not nutritious, it causes, there will be diseases like anemia, kwashiorkor.
Farmer extension services have predominantly concentrated on increasing food security and incomes, neglecting the aspect of nutrition security and eating a balanced, nutritious meal.
Our concentration has been on food security through production, storage, value addition, and marketing. And we've been having a challenge of training and sensitizing our communities on how to prepare the food that we advise them to produce.
Food security is not nutritional security. And this one actually now brings on board the demand to train our farmers on how to have a balanced diet. We need to strengthen the fact that for us to have food, it must be food that will build the body, that will provide health, and will also help in providing the necessary energy.
I'm Nafka Farida and Douglas Setumba.
More updates. Luziro Prisons has undertaken a commendable initiative by distributing over 700 cows, 120 goats and 90 sheep across 266 prisons nationwide. This generous gesture aims to bring Christmas cheer to inmates who are unable to travel home during the holiday season.
As the world traditionally celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ on 25th of December, each country marks the occasion uniquely with prayer preparations. Frank Waine, the spokesperson of Uganda Prisons, underscored the significance of this annual practice in ensuring that all inmates in the country are cared for during the Christmas period.
We are doing it because, as you know, we are on standby and the people we have cannot simply walk home. But Christmas being a very important celebration worldwide, it is always very important for us that we do something different from the usual. And that's why at least all the inmates, all the staff and our families will enjoy Christmas with Christmas meals plus the other packages like rice and the like.
However, he assured the public that the slaughtered animals underwent thorough testing by doctors to ensure their safety.
To make sure that the meat that is consumed by the staff and the inmates is good meat. And of course, you know, even with the existing situation of foot and mouth disease and anthrax, To avoid that, that's why we have to subject every cow that is slaughtered. It has to be subjected to inspection. And if it is found to be not palatable according to the professionals, then that one has to be destroyed.
Addressing nutritional preferences, Baine mentioned that inmates who abstain from meat will also receive suitable alternatives.
Yeah, there is always a provision. There is fish. I wouldn't say chicken is in the upper end, but there is normally fish for them. The OCs are instructed to make sure they are catered for, and the OCs are facilitated to ensure that all those who don't eat meat actually also enjoy the same way others are enjoying.
With a prison population exceeding 76,000, along with over 14,000 staff and an estimated 90,000 family members of staff, all are said to enjoy Christmas courtesy of Luzira prisons. Normal prayers will be conducted in various prisons across the country on Christmas Day as part of their celebrations. Justin Nakami, UBC News.
The Banyachigezi communities are set to convene on Wednesday, 28th December in Ruchiga district to commemorate this year's annual convention, placing a major focus on reflecting on the highs and lows of 2023 and strategizing for the upcoming year, 2024.
Andrew Turehehi and Dr. John Bahana, both members of the Banyachigezi Uganda chapter. The association acts as a union of Banyachigezi communities.
This organization, the International Community of Banyachigezi, was formed way back 2003 out of concerns of Ugandans originally from Kigezi sub-region that were spread all over the world, what we call the diaspora. And the ideas came from US and Canada, and from there we felt we needed to have a Ugandan foundation that was going to drive our objectives, which objectives basically are to help our communities in the Kigezi sub-region.
Founded by the late Governor of the Bank of Uganda, Emmanuel Tumusime Mutebere, the association was registered in 2003. Celebrating 20 years of existence, the chapter has been spearheading various community activities every year. According to the initiators, the focus is primarily on fostering bonds among the Banyachigezi residing in Uganda and around the world.
We welcome all Banyachigezi from wherever they are, so it's going to be our guest of honor. The host of the convention is none other than Right Honorable Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, who is now the Senior Presidential Advisor and previously Prime Minister of this country.
This year's annual event for the Banyachigezi will take place in Ruchiga district on 28th December 2023.
We rotate around the districts. So we've been to not only Kabale, we've been to Kisoro, we've been to Kanungu, we've been to Rukunjiri, and now we are going to be in Ruchiga. Whereas the other year, before the COVID, we were in Rubanda. So the convention basically brings all of Banyachigezi from wherever they are, largely the ones in Uganda, but if there are those who are in diaspora and are able to come, yes, they also are very welcome.
The convention will host a variety of community-based activities.
The convention that will be in Ruchiga will focus on a number of activities. There will be football, a marathon, there will be a medical camp, and there will be a launch of the Paulo Ngorogoza scholarship scheme.
Beyond the annual celebrations, the association is extending a helping hand to those in dire need within the region.
We do have students who are needy but talented. These are important because the youth are the future of Uganda. We need to empower them such that they can help us to push the country forward.
But what is the dream of this organization?
One, it helps in acting as a platform for socio-economic development, and also it also helps in promoting unity and development of Chigezi at large.
I'm Nafka Farida and Vincent Wamundu.
Now moving on, people residing near the Mpondwe border in Bukonzo County, West Constituency, Kasese District have appealed to the government to enhance security measures as they approach the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. Concerns are raised about potential security threats during the festive season.
Christians approach the celebration of Christmas next Monday. Residents near Mpondwe border are urging the government to strengthen security to ensure a peaceful celebration. They specifically emphasize the need for thorough checks at churches, suggesting the introduction of detective machines to identify potential security threats.
Because the enemy will also put on as one who is going also to church. So not only government but as community members, we also have to identify those who are coming as visitors. Much as we don't say visitors are bad, but we have to know who is a visitor and the reasons they have come.
We should know that this is a visitor has entered in. When you are entering the church, you should know that this one is a new person, and if possible, gadgets should be put on the doorway. Checking each other is not a crime, so that church sermons can move on smoothly.
Responding to the fears of the people near Mpondwe border, State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, reassured the public of the government's commitment to ensuring the security of all districts neighboring the Democratic Republic of Congo.
We are doing everything possible to ensure people celebrate Christmas safely. I think the president reassured people yesterday, and our security organs are on the top of the game. All our security organs. So people shouldn't really get worried that there will be any big problem. But we also appeal to the civilians, the civilian population, to be vigilant, like we who stay on the border and people who stay in Kamwenge, Bundibujo, Ndoroko, and those Rwenzori mountains, Kabarore, this Bunyangabu, we should remain vigilant. So anybody who has any proximity to the Congo border should be vigilant. So that when you see any suspicious person, you should report that person to the security organs. But the security situation is okay, it's very calm and it's normal.
Speaking to over 500 youths from Bukonzo County West, the minister urged the population to remain vigilant about security and report insuspicious individuals within the community.
I would like to advise people not to leave the houses without any person when you are going to church. At least nowadays we have different services, so people should go to church in shifts. Because it's not only the terrorists, but even the petty thieves can easily break into your house and even take the meat which you had bought for Christmas and all the presents. So we have to be very vigilant.
In a similar vein, Leonard Imanishiwe, the Youth Executive Director from the Office of the First Lady, advised the youth to celebrate Christmas consciously and be vigilant against contracting diseases like HIV/AIDS during the festivities.
We say adopt risk avoidance behavior, avoid things that may dispose you to injury, to harm, to sickness, HIV and AIDS, acquiring HIV and AIDS, to drug abuse and any other addiction that may affect you. So let's be responsible, let's be orderly, let's help our parents, let's enjoy the joy of being in a family.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Kabode Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Kabode deal and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Kabode Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
In this family, we can't agree on anything.
Martha.
We can't even agree on what to watch. All the games to play.
Martha.
Ndoza Mulabi, we can't even agree on what to eat. At least the one thing for now we can all agree on is the soap to use. He likes that it's big and lasts long. Anti-economy. I like that it keeps my skin smooth. Ate alina echovu. And the children like that. It smells amazing. Everyone is happy. Movit soap comes in 4 fantastic flavors. Movit family soap is truly soap for the whole family.
Movit. All day confidence.
Meet Stone Atwine, the co-founder of Eversend, a startup that is building financial technology from Uganda to the world. From currency exchange to business banking, Stone and his team are doing it all. Stone embodies the grit and the commitment to take a startup from nothing to something. Stone, keep building. You are unstoppable. MTN, the Unstoppable Network, celebrates you. Download the Eversend app and together, let's support Ugandans like Stone who are driving our country's unstoppable progress.
Welcome back. Good to know you're still following and watching the national broadcaster. Now, business updates. We're seeing Samuel Were Wandere. The executive director of the Financial Intelligence Authority is optimistic that Uganda will be removed from the grey list of countries deemed weak in laws on preventing anti-money laundering and terrorism financing by February 2024. He conveyed in an interview with UBC TV that the country has been diligently establishing robust laws and systems to align with global standards in combating money laundering, terrorism financing and proliferation financing.
Action Task Force, a global body addressing money laundering, terrorism and proliferation financing, recently conducted an on-site visit in Uganda to evaluate the country's preparedness in adhering to global standards for combating these crimes. Samuel Were Wandera, the executive director of the Financial Intelligence Authority, sees this on-site visit by FATF as a significant stride towards Uganda's removal from the financial grey list.
They were here last week. We went through a number of meetings trying to demonstrate to them the areas of weakness that government has addressed them. And we expect that in February next year, the findings of this report will be made public to all Ugandans, and we hope that by that time in February, Uganda will be exiting the grey list.
The Financial Action Task Force had previously threatened to blacklist Uganda unless it implemented reforms to meet global standards. Fortunately, Uganda has recently made crucial reforms, including the adoption of a national anti-money laundering law.
We have demonstrated to the ICRG group the effort and the strong political commitment which government has put in place, and also to ensure that we sustain the reforms which are already in place to be able to address the deficiencies to fight money laundering and terrorism financing.
Estimates from the World Bank, IMF and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime suggest that countries lose between 2.5% to 5% of their GDP to illicit financial flows.
The Ugandan economy is about $50 billion. Now, if you use the estimate, the global estimate of how countries lose such funds, you'll find that Uganda loses between 4 to 9 trillion shillings annually.
Amidst the festive season, Wandera emphasizes that they will be on high alert to detect any illicit financial flows into the country.
It is not criminal to come in the country with money, but you only need to come with legitimate funds which you have acquired over time, and you're able to demonstrate that these are not funds intended to finance terrorism. These are funds which you are not considering to clean within our economy. If you have those intentions, stay warned.
Being on the grey list poses challenges for a country in conducting financial transactions in and out of its borders. Diana Oloin Peters, UBC News.
Now, still talking business, we're seeing the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives officially acknowledging the Uganda Federation of Mal-Gomgos Credit Community Cooperatives, UFCC, as the apex body representing Mal-Gomgos Credit Community Cooperatives. The recognition comes in the form of a permanent certificate of registration. The Assistant Commissioner for Cooperatives, Robert Pakibi, hails the UFCC's permanency of registration as a significant boost to trust and credibility.
In a significant development for the Uganda Federation of Mal-Gomgos Credit Community Cooperatives, the organization has been granted a permanent registration certificate from the Register of Cooperatives at the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. During the handover of the certificate, Robert Mpakivi, the Assistant Commissioner for Cooperatives, commended the Federation for its unwavering commitment to cooperative principles and values. He specifically highlighted the Federation's dedication to mentoring member cooperatives within the Mal-Gomgos community.
This permanent registration comes with various benefits, and one of them is that this permanent registration of the UFCC yields confidence on the part of the Federation itself and the affiliate members. They will be delivering services with all the confidence that they are now duly and permanently registered.
According to Pasco Wambale, the Mal-Gomgo coordinator in PG, the permanent certificate of registration signifies official recognition as the apex body for Mal-Gomgos in Uganda. This achievement propels the Federation to disseminate financial inclusion information nationwide with a special emphasis on empowering the youth.
We are going to carry on our mandate to make sure that we form and develop MGs across the country. We lobby and advocate for the member MGs in this country. We disseminate information concerning MGs, community cooperatives.
Samuel Mavumilizi, the president of the Federation, emphasized that as a legal entity, their focus would be on promoting financial literacy and education among Mal-Gomgos members. This, he believes, will empower individuals to make informed financial decisions.
As we have obtained our certificate, we are now ready to go and work with the different stakeholders, because we have been working with probation and it has been hindering our activities to work with potential partners.
At celebrations held in Tiribongo, Mal-Gomgo, Mityana district, Dora Nakazibwe, the treasurer and UFCC general secretary, expressed that receiving the permanent certificate is a milestone that removes hindrances, allowing for more effective performance and increased trust.
Permanent registration, now we've gained it, and we expect to get more financial support from our other stakeholders, so that we make sure that our cooperative grows and gains more strength.
So I urge you, my fellow leaders, my community, MG family, that let's work united. We are sure that in years to come, we are going to build Uganda.
This achievement also opens doors for collaboration with 18 Mal-Gomgos under its umbrella and support from KFCC. The Federation is poised to enhance its support for rural communities and strengthen its position as a key player in fostering economic growth and inclusivity. Sudat Kaye and Robert Boita, UBC News.
Businessmen and women in West Nile are expressing dissatisfaction with the restrictions imposed by commercial banks on accessing government loans and grants. They highlight the challenge of numerous demanded documents, creating hurdles for startup businesses.
This concern was raised during engagement organized by the Bank of Uganda in collaboration with the Uganda Investment Authority held in Arua district. Key complaints from business owners revolve around the difficulties in accessing the Small Business Recovery Fund, especially for businesses affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, and the Agricultural Credit Facility.
Actually, we have a lot of gaps in between our business operations and the banking sector. Other than the ACF and the COVID recovery fund that the government has given. But accessing these money has been very difficult. The conditions have been very, very tough, regardless of what kind of business you do and at what level.
According to Ronald Debo, the Arua City chairman for Chamber of Commerce, the loan policies of commercial banks are stringent and warrant intervention from the government through the Bank of Uganda and the Ministry of Finance.
There's a saying that the banks should use their policies of giving out loan. The participating financial institutions should use the existing policies within their system to give out the loan. The only difference is the interest rate is low. Yet the conditions of the traditional banks is very hard for our people. And you know, from what I have observed, the traditional banks are promoting their routine loan schemes. So for me, I think the issue there is policy. Government is pushing banks to give out a loan, and yet the conditions are still hard. So long as the policies are not adjusted, people will fail to access those funds.
One major challenge highlighted by small-scale business owners is the requirement to present a land title as collateral when seeking government loans from commercial banks. Richard Byarugawa, the Executive Director of Finance at Bank of Uganda, explains the conditions for loans, especially when land is used as collateral.
There was a question, can you access money without land titles? Yes, and Equity Bank has said they can even give you up to 60 million. So for small monies up to 20 million, you don't need a land title. Even the youth can access this money without land title. As the minister said, ACF is 12% and SBRF is only 10%. We are putting in place a system, and actually has started, so that we shorten this. We should be processing your loan if we have all the documentation in about a week or two. It shouldn't take you so long.
This feedback from the business community in West Nile has prompted State Minister for Investment and Privatization, Evelyn Anite, to take a closer look at the matter.
So if your business is registered and your business is struggling, please, this day on 10th of February, do come to Kololo and you make your request. And I'll give you the microphone. I will translate to the president because he wants to listen. It is true, he's been giving support to different businesses. Some of this is the ACF, Agricultural Credit Fund, that we're talking about. But again, the same people in other areas are the ones benefiting the money, because down here our people are not lending out the money. The banks are not giving out the money. But my focus and energy is going to be invested in West Nile. For us to access this money, I am going to make sure that together we benefit.
The engagement by Bank of Uganda attracted hundreds of business people from across the West Nile sub-region. Joseph Odama, UBC News, in Arua district.
Now moving on, milk processors are urgently calling for government intervention to open up new export markets across the African continent. They argue that the Kenyan market is no longer reliable due to the intermittent protection embargoes.
Period, milk processors heavily relied on selling their products into the Kenyan market. However, recent restrictions imposed by the Kenyan government hindered milk exports, prompting processors to seek new export markets across the African continent.
Sometimes that Kenya needs milk, and the other time Kenya does not need milk. So we are opting for our country as the government to see that they open up other markets in the surrounding regional countries like DRC and others, so that surely we should not only look at one point for export.
Recently, the Rwandan government granted approval to Lakeside Dairies to start exporting their milk products. Processors believe that this not only broadens their market scope but also generates substantial revenues for the government. In addition to exploring new export markets, processors are urging the government to formulate policies that will boost local milk consumption.
We need the government to improve on the sensitization on the milk uptake by the young ones and the old age ones, so that the milk, at least we can have a complete consumption of the whole milk within our country, then we can export little.
As 2023 concludes, Dairy Top Company proudly announces an increase in their milk processing capacity from 200,000 to 300,000 litres per day. This expansion has also led to the improvement of machinery and increased employment opportunities for locals.
When production increases, that means we have to add more workers. Yeah, so we added on the number of workers. In January, we had 250 workers. But currently we have over 350 workers, and we added more machines like crate washing machines. We added production machines.
Farmers have also experienced a surge in milk prices, rising from 1,000 to 2,500 shillings per litre. However, they continue to lament the substantial taxes imposed by the government.
Because when the taxes are high, it means the suppliers of raw materials also increase the prices of the raw materials. So everything is very expensive because of the taxes. Yeah, that is the major challenge we are facing currently.
In anticipation of 2024, the milk processing company plans to commence processing powdered milk to tap into the Liberian market, a recent market secured by the government. Industry stakeholders and regulators commend dairy top milk processors for their transformative impact on the dairy sector, urging the government to provide them with a tax waiver. They also appeal to local consumers to purchase milk products from safe and clean sources to avoid consuming adulterated milk.
Processed products, you can also access them from supermarkets and shops. But also those products should be clearly labeled, and the source should be known. There are people who just go and do anything and call it, for example, ice cream.
So it's better you use the product which you are aware about, that even when you are offended, you can sue. How do you sue somebody who has given you milk which is not processed? It has no label. It is a mobile target.
Uganda is estimated to produce over 3.8 billion litres of milk annually, some of which is consumed in raw form, while the remainder is processed into various products, including UHT and yogurt. Sudat Kaye, Ambrose Muhumuza, UBC News.
Well, a look at sports before we let you go, Mary. Uganda Olympics Committee has set sights on a successful 2024, whose main activity has the Olympics in France in July. This has been reiterated during the end-of-year press conference hosted at the committee's head office in Lugogo.
With 216 days to the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, Uganda Olympic Committee has confirmed that 18 athletes have already qualified.
I'm happy to report that as of today, we have 18 athletes who have qualified for the Olympics, and we expect more. 16 from athletics, for the sake of soccer, abokuduka. So it's clear. We have 1 from rowing and 1 from cycling. We expect a few more. Our target is between 25, maybe to 28, 30, to qualify between now and June of next year.
Last time out, Uganda took 25 athletes in 4 disciplines, with targets for the same number, with disciplines like boxing and rugby with high chances.
From swimming, we expect 2. We expect someone from weightlifting, maybe badminton and boxing, or gain a muscle. So we have an opportunity to go to Italy, 13 boxers, and the deadline for their submission is the 19th of January. Then we shall have another opportunity for another 13 to go to Bangkok in Thailand, and we hope that from these, Uganda will be able to qualify 1 or 2 boxers.
Uganda has taken part in the Olympics since 1956 and has won 11 medals, including 4 gold medals. During the news conference, At the committee's head offices in Lugogo, the UOC president highlighted achievements this year. He prides in collaborations with countries and organizations like Cuba and Uganda Tourism Board and celebrates the Game Connect project that caters for refugees. Jimmy Aluri, Marsha Miro, UBC News.
Well, it's been an honor for me to serve you this lovely Sunday, the 24th of December, 2023. Well, wish you all the best, warm wishes, and of course, lots of love as you enjoy the season. From the entire team, have a great day. My name is Sandra Kahunde. Thank you for watching. God bless you.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
A very good holiday season to you all. My name is Rachel Takali, the Chief News Editor here at UBC Radios. We thank God for the opportunity to gather once more as friends and family, to enjoy our lives, to enjoy everything that we hold dear at the end of another year. We thank you particularly as the UBC family for staying with us, for supporting us, for being the audience that we expected, and so much more. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Christmas gifts. Your kids may ask, if Christmas is Jesus' birthday, why do we get presents? While that pile of gifts by the tree may seem totally secular, remember, it finds its origins in one of the traditional Bible stories. The 3 wise men arrived with gifts for the baby Jesus: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. While we don't exchange quite the same presents in modern times, the spirit remains the same.
Amaina gange nize Mutesi Esther, abasoga bannange mwena mwena, nenda okubendeza Christmas enungi n'omwaka ogwidda ogw'emirembe. Okusingerera abali kuva mu kibuga bannaye mbasaba muvuge bulungi, mutuuke waka bulungi, kubanga abantu abasinga mu byalo babalindiriire okujaguza walala nimwe. Mbendeza Christmas enungi n'omwaka ogwidda ogw'emirembe, mutanwa ne muvuga. Ntumira ku abantu bange abe Nsinze Busiki, Jenzarwa Enamutumba. Mbendeza Christmas enungi, abantu bekamuli, abantu abeidinda, mwena mwena, all my OGs, ba OBs, mwena mwena. Mbendeza Christmas enungi, OBs and OGs from St. Paul Kamuli, aba Light College Mukono, Agape,